Okay, ladies and gentlemen of geometry, welcome to Geometry B. This is your first lesson, so we start out with something that you kind of know, might remember, but we got to build on this a little bit, and that is the Pythagorean theorem and its converse. So converse means kind of what happens when I can flip it around. So what you need to be able to do, apply the Pythagorean theorem and the converse, solve problems logically just false. So Pythagorean theorem at its most basic premise is leg squared times leg squared equals hypotenuse squared. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where this is called a leg, this is called a leg, and this is your hypotenuse. So that's kind of what you're dealing with. So 6 is number 1, 6 is a leg, 15 is a leg, x is your hypotenuse. So I go 6 squared plus 15 squared equals x squared. So that's 36 plus 225 equals x squared. So that's going to be 225 plus 36 is going to be 261 equals x squared. So now to get rid of that, I need to take the square root of both sides. So my answer will be 16.15, rounded. Okay, so now if I said simplify the square root, you should know what to do there. Quick reminder, 261 simplified, you start breaking it apart into things that it can be divided by. So I can break this apart into 9 and 29. Take the square root, so that'll be 3 square root of 29. So that would be my simplified answer. All right, number 2, 7 is a leg, 17 is a leg, x is your hypotenuse, so that's going to be 7 squared plus 17 squared equals x squared. 7 squared is 49. 17 squared is going to be 289. So you're going to add those two together. So then you're going to square root that guy, and I get 18.3848. Okay, look at the instructions, figure out what they want. If they want a simplified square root, that's this one. If they're okay with the decimal, that's fine. All right, so here you're looking at kind of working backwards a little bit. So take a look. You're actually dealing with, here is a leg, here is a leg, here's my hypotenuse. So I'm going to go x squared plus 9 squared equals 11 squared. So that's x squared plus 81 equals 121. So subtract 81, so x squared equals 40. So x is going to be equal to the square root of 40, which I know for a fact is not a perfect square. So it ends up being approximately 6.32456. So, but if I broke it apart into a simplified square root, it would just be 4 and 10, square root of 4, square root of 10, so that's just going to be 2 square root of 10. So Pythagorean triple, the Pythagorean triple is exactly what it sounds like. It is a set of 3 numbers that work in Pythagorean theorem. So 3, 4, and 5, 5, 12, 13, 7, 24, 25, and all the multiple. So if I go like 6, 8, 10, that's going to work. If I go like 9, 12, and 15, that's going to work. If I go 12, 16, 20, that's going to work. Same thing here. If I go 10, 24, 26, that's going to work. If I go 15, 36, 39, that's going to work. So those are some of the more popular ones. So if you see one of those, kind of become familiar with these, those show up. So I could go like 14, 28, and 50. So I could go like 21, 72, and 75. So if a squared plus b squared equals c squared, then ABC is a right triangle. So, but now that's not always the case. Now you can use Pythagorean theorem to figure out, well, what kind of triangle am I dealing with here? So, if c squared is smaller, okay, so if my hypotenuse squared is smaller, then I no longer have a right triangle. These two aren't equal anymore. Notice there's no equal sign. Now it's a less than sign. C squared is smaller. That makes it an acute triangle. And if C squared is bigger, that makes it an obtuse triangle. So now use this. So think about it from the terms of C squared. If C squared is small, it's acute. If C squared is big, it's obtuse, which kind of makes sense because if my big side is small, my biggest side is smaller, it should be a smaller triangle. If my big side is bigger, it's going to be a bigger triangle. So figure out if these are going to be acute, right, or obtuse. So you're always going to go smallest two compared to biggest one. So you're going to go 7 squared plus 14 squared, and you're going to compare that to 16 squared. So that's 49 and 196. So 196 plus 49 is 245, and 16 squared is going to be 256. So C squared is actually bigger. This is my C squared, so that's going to make it obtuse. All right, now for B, I'm going to check 9, 40, and 41, so that's going to be 9 squared plus 40 squared, and I'm going to go ahead and compare it to 41 squared. So 9 squared is 81, 40 squared is 1600. Let's see what happens when I take 41 squared. 41 squared is 1681. So 1681 on the left, 1681 on the right. Those are equal. It's a right triangle. Okay, now for letter C. Before you get too excited and get going on this problem, take a look at something. 1, 7, and 8. Well, in order to be a triangle at all, any two sides have got to be bigger than a third. So I've got 1 plus 7 equal to 8. 1 plus 7 has to be bigger than whatever the third side is. So this is technically not a triangle. So that's technically not a triangle. So take a look here. Number 6. So you got x minus 5, 8, and x. So let's take a look at what we got here. So we've got x minus 5 squared plus 8 squared equals x squared. So now x minus 5. A lot of kids will try to tell me that is x squared minus 25. That is not the case. That's going to be wrong. This is actually going to be, and if I have to draw a box, I'll draw a box. Oops. So this would be x and another negative 5. So it's going to be x squared minus 10x plus 25. And then plus 64 for the 8 squared equals x squared. So now a little bit of algebra. If I subtract x squared from both sides, zeros out, negative 10x plus 89. So 89 will equal 10x, just by algebra, add 10x to both sides. So x should equal 8.9. So that means this is 8.9, this is going to be minus 5, so that's going to be 3.9. All right, so find the perimeter and area of the figure below. Area is actually easier to figure here because all you have to do is figure out the area here and figure out the area here and add them together. So let's do that. So 15 times 12. You don't need to have a calculator handy for that one. That's just going to be 180. So the rectangle is going to be 180. The triangle, remember, is going to be 7 times 12 times 1/2. So that's going to be 42. So the area of this thing is going to be 222 centimeters squared. Now, perimeter is the tough part because in order to figure out the perimeter, I have to figure out this side. Well, I have to use Pythagorean theorem to do that. So to figure out this side, I'm going to use Pythagorean theorem, so that's going to be 7 squared plus 12 squared equals c squared. So that's going to be 49 plus 144 equals c squared. So 144 and 49 is going to be 193. So that's going to be 193. I know that's not a square root, but for this case, I want a decimal answer, so that's going to be 13.89. So that makes that 13.89. So now perimeter just becomes 7, 15, 12, 15, and 13.89. So I'm just going to add those all together. So my perimeter is going to be equal to 62.8924 centimeters. There's my answers. Okay, that's all I've got. Play around with this a little bit and see what you come up with and come talk to me.